Hello, beloveds. Thanks for tuning back in once again to Authentic Black Goddess TV. I'm your host, QueenAShakur, and this is your second morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. You can also follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27, and make sure you follow the Queen Shakur fan page on Instagram. Okay, so let's get into it. Hello, Woke One. I see you. Double A, Christopher, Sweet Great Mom, Lee, Metasimplicus, Fight for Black, N Night, Gibran. I hope I said your name right, beloved. Golden Gold, True Justice, Aeon, Stacy, Tracy, Terry, Queen Adaya. Okay. Ladybug, Pearly, Trisha, Melanated Brown is in town. All right, let's get back into it. Or shall I say black into it? Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. Okay? Now listen to this. So a federal judge will allow a grieving family to sue the police officers in the state of Maryland. The town of Greensboro. Members of the Greensboro Police Department, the chief medical examiner, and others, they're all going to be sued for the death of 19-year-old Anton Blaque. Okay, he was killed in 2018. Now, the U.S. District Judge Catherine Blaque declined to dismiss the lawsuit that was filed by the family of Anton against the several parties, including local law enforcement, in what they believe was the wrongful death of the young college student. The family hopes this is a step to the long journey of securing justice for Anton, a path that they started 3 years ago. Now, on September the 15th of 2018, Blaque was killed in police custody in the Eastern Shore city of Greensboro. It was an encounter initiated by an officer with some 30 use of force complaints against him in previous arrests, okay, in his police position in Delaware. Now, he was clearly nefarious. He'd all done this before. So including one incident where he kicked a handcuffed black man in the face and knocked out his teeth. Let me tell y'all something. I saw that video years ago. I know exactly who this thug is. I saw the footage. The black man was lying in the street right behind the police cruiser. He was handcuffed, laying face down. Now, he had his head up because he was saying something, and the cop walked over and kicked him. I mean, he drew back his foot and kicked him hard in his mouth. Knocked his teeth right out. This is the same devil. I mean, you have to ask yourself, why is he even still working? Though he's working at a different police department. But do you all see how they fire these people and then they just go somewhere else? Now, I don't even know if he got fired for kicking that black man in the teeth. He could have just quit and gone somewhere. I don't know. But at the end of the day, do you see how this goes? When they get caught doing stuff like that, they should not only be charged and convicted and sent to prison where the rest of the thugs go, but they should never be allowed to work in law enforcement again. But we all know that's not going to happen because nobody really cares what they do to black people. I would tell you like this, honey. Kicking somebody in their face and knocking their teeth out. You might as well kill me right then and there. Okay? Otherwise, the plots will begin to thicken. The plots will begin to thicken. I'm just saying, honey, because I'll be suing him, his mama, putting liens on everything he got. He wouldn't be able to work again by the time I got through with him, honey, because I'll put a lien on that insurance and all of that. So anyway, let me continue. Calm down, Queen Amadaya. So Greensboro police officer Thomas Webster IV, who has since been fired from the department, confronted the young man after someone called 911 about a possible child abduction. Someone saw a black man with a child in a headlock. However, the concerned caller did not know that it was Blaque and a young family friend who had been out for a trip to a local basketball court. Blaque, who had been hospitalized just days earlier with mental health issues when he was diagnosed as bipolar, was initially cooperative when he and his 12-year-old friend were called over by the police to the police cruiser by Webster. Now, at some point during their interaction, the boy that was allegedly being kidnapped identified himself as a family friend, contradicting Blaque's claims that the two were brothers. The boy also told the officer that Blaque was schizophrenic and wasn't acting in his right frame of mind. Now, when Webster told Blaque to put his hands behind his back, both young men took off in different directions. I'm sorry, why was he told to put his hands behind his back? That's all I'm asking. Why did he tell him to put his hands behind his back? Why was he under arrest? Just curious. Okay. So anyway, Webster began pursuing Blaque, but first he enlisted help from a white motorcyclist. Somebody who's not even in law enforcement. Please pay attention to the nefariousness. Okay, so he enlisted the help of a white motorcyclist who happened upon the scene to join him in his apprehension. Now, during the pursuit, two officers from different municipalities, then Wrigley Police Chief Gary Manos and Centerville Police Officer Dennis Lannon, they joined in the chase. Blaque ran to his family's trailer and proceeded to get into a car in front of it and lock himself inside. Webster took his baton and smashed out the window. After opening the window, he used his stun gun to electrically shock the high school athlete into submission, clearly doing the most. As Blaque continued to struggle with the three cops, plus one who wore a Confederate helmet, eventually tussled the young man to the base of the family's home porch and smashed him with their collective body weights for 6 minutes and several more minutes after the teen had already been handcuffed. Shackled the man with Old Dixie on his head, held Blaque's face to the floor, and fixed his legs back towards the sky as his mother helplessly watched. What? Honey, I don't know about you all, but this is just all so nefarious. All so nefarious. Okay, now, Janelle Blaque says that the memory of her son being killed in front of her on her own property still haunts her. Honey, let me tell you something. What was she doing? Standing there? Because they would have had to kill me and my son, honey. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb, like the young folks say. All right, so miss me with it. You think I'm just going to stand there and watch? Well, you're doing that to my son? Oh, baby, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to have to take us both right on up out of here. I promise you that. But let me continue. Now, he struggled to take his last breaths, collapsed after losing consciousness. Police did CPR for nearly 30 minutes, but Anton was pronounced dead at the hospital the same day. Whoo, honey, my blood pressure is rising. Let me calm down, people. I'm so very serious. Very serious. Now, I don't know about you all, but this is my first time ever hearing of this young man. I just got the story. Someone sent it to me last night. I never heard of Anton Blaque. This is my first time hearing of him and this nefarious story. These devils, I absolutely cannot. So over 4 months after his death, law enforcement released body cam footage of the encounter after previously refusing to share the video with the public. Now, the footage showed the teenager who had been diagnosed as bipolar running from the cops and later being tased. Okay, let me just show the footage. Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. This is all so crazy. I absolutely cannot. I absolutely cannot. Let me fix this chat. Yeah. Harlan Brown says there will soon be only blood as payback. My pressure too. Pfeiffer Black says Queen of Royals. This cop would not only get his teeth kicked out, I need his watching a loved one being murdered by slave patrols is not acceptable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Vince I Am says speechless. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to mute my mic for a second.
All right, listen. You're not his brother?
No.
No, I am.
Okay, step
He's not my brother, bro.
Stop. stop. Stay right there.
That's not my brother.
All right, do me a favor. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands back. Put your hands behind your back. I'm tasing him. Taser, taser. I just hit him. Jump. Stop. You're under arrest. You're under arrest. Don't let the dog eat. Come to the door. Come to the door, E. Buddy, jump in here. Thank you. You were always there. He's schizophrenic. Yeah.
John, R1
That was really my mom. All right, grab his leg. No. Pull it out from under him. All right, here we go. Here we go, buddy.
G4 is
Yeah. There we go. Watch those probes.
CS 18.
He's having a problem.
Now you don't know.
Bring it up. Yep. He's on. He's cuffed.
Hey, let him sit there a second.
Okay, everybody take a breather. Anton here tried to abduct a 12-year-old and then fled from the police. That's it.
Okay, that was hard to watch. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to put the link in the chats so you all can watch the video at your leisure, because it was, I don't know why it was loading like that or whatever, or pausing like that or whatever. So I'll put the link in the chat, but I'm going to tell you like this. You see how the cop sat there and lied? He said Anton was abducting the 12. First of all, he wasn't abducting anybody. The boy told him, I want y'all to pay attention to how the devils do lie. Now, someone asked, how did it all start? It started because a neighbor, a Mayo, called the police and said that there was a guy trying to abduct a child because they said he had the little boy in a headlock or something like that. Okay, so obviously they were horseplaying because they just come from the basketball court or were either going to the basketball court. That little boy is a family friend. Long story short, the police come. And let me tell you something. You see that little area where they live in? You don't think the neighbor who called the police knew that he knows that little boy? Please, okay? They will call the police and lie. First of all, they knew the boy wasn't being abducted. And how did they know that? I'm glad you asked. First of all, they don't think the boy would have been screaming, yelling, and begging for help. They knew he wasn't trying to abduct that boy. They knew that he knew that boy. I guarantee you, okay? So they just did that to call the police because that's what the Helmets crew does. They just want to get black people publicly lynched. They call the police and lie. Just like the fool that called on Tamir Rice when he's out there on the playground with a toy gun, all right? They knew it was a toy gun. They even said on the phone, it might be a toy or it's probably a toy. They knew it was. So my whole thing is this. When they were handcuffing him, they told the person who told the other officers or whatever, he was abducting a 12-year-old. No, they knew by then he wasn't. Even if the call came in saying that, they knew he wasn't because the little boy, the part that we didn't see on the camera, the little boy had already told them that they were friends. And the little boy also told them that he has mental issues, that he's schizophrenic and he's not acting in his right mind. The little boy had already told them that. So how are you going to sit there and lie and say he was abducting the little boy? So crazy, honey. Also nefarious. But let me continue. And so 4 months after his death, the footage was released. The footage showed the teenager who had been diagnosed with both bipolar and schizophrenia running from cops and later being tased. It also shows the officers detaining him in front of his home, where he cried out for his mother for help and said, "I love you," before he died. That is so sad. Now, the American Civil Liberties Union of Maryland joined Kenneth Ravenel, Renee C. Swafford, Leslie Hirschfield, and Tamika Church are representing the family. In 2020, the parties filed a 64-page federal lawsuit against multiple parties on behalf of Janelle Blaque, his mother, Anton Blaque, Katra Boyce, and the Coalition of Justice for Anton Blaque. Now, the claim named over a dozen defendants, including the chief, the medical examiner, and the former chief medical examiner, David Fowler. The attorneys claim the state medical examiner's office covered up the true causes of the teen's death. Didn't I tell y'all this? I told y'all this before. The medical examiners lie. They're absolutely in cahoots with the police. If someone in your family gets killed by the police, you best to be trying to get an independent autopsy, because we already know how that goes. So they covered up the true causes of the teen's death, resulting in an unconstitutional police killing. Now, the claim further alleges that the defendants tried to cover up involving a certified officer with a long record of abuse. Yeah, the thug that kicked out another black man's teeth while he was on the ground handcuffed. According to the ACLU, Webster has a documented history of violence and excessive force against black residents, even before joining the police force. So when he was a civilian, he's walking around harming black people, but they still let him be a police officer. You see, that's the kind of people they want to be police officers. Now, this is a history that black people had known and had mentioned to his mother before the conflict that took his life. Still, the Caroline County State's attorney declined to bring the case before a grand jury, citing the medical examiner's ruling that the teen's death was accidental from sudden cardiac arrest. Fowler, who claimed who was medical examiner, the chief medical examiner at the time of the ruling in Blaque's case, achieved national notoriety after testifying on behalf of former Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin. Okay, you see how these devils be lying and taking up for each other on code? And he testified for Derek Chauvin at his murder trial, where Fowler attributed George Floyd's death to natural causes, rather than Derek Chauvin's knee in his neck. Now, the state of Maryland has since opened an investigation into Fowler's apparent pattern of absolving law enforcement officers of culpability for in-custody deaths. Since the state's attorney refusal, the family has secured a cardiologist from Johns Hopkins for a second opinion. Now, the doctor will serve as an expert witness for the plaintiffs and states that based on his or her analysis of Blaque's case, he believes the cause of death was not an accidental heart attack, but asphyxiation, because all of them piled on top of him. They suffocated him. He couldn't breathe. Now imagine your child right in front of you with all of these thugs, these gang members with badges piled on top of them. He can't breathe, clearly, and you're watching this, and he shouts out, "I love you, Mom," before he dies. Now, honey, I promise you, they would have had to kill me too that day. I promise you that. Now, in her 27-page memorandum on the ruling submitted on Tuesday, January the 18th, she noted that there were too many facts that could be disputed. And that's what the judge said, Judge Blaque, because she believed that there was enough evidence for the case to be seen. And she refused to toss it out like they wanted her to do. Okay? Now, she also noted that the body cam doesn't answer all the questions surrounding the causes of Mr. Blaque's death. Too many facts that could be disputed. The family applauded the court's decision, saying the ruling matters so much to those who cared for him. Blaque's sister, Latoya Holly, commended the judge for her decision in a statement. In the statement, she says, this sweeping ruling matters so much to our family and our ongoing struggle to ensure there is accountability for the police who murdered Anton, all those who covered it up, and for the medical examiner who tried to justify it. This ruling gives us some hope in our hearts that accountability will come and that our family, or that the lawsuit may ultimately help our families around, help other families around the country who are also mourning loved ones whose killings by police were also covered up. So nefarious. That is just a darn shame. Hold on. That's real nefarious. Now, I'm going to play this video of the family and their attorney speaking. Attorney Ken Ravenel. The double A said they didn't need all those cops on him. Well, of course, they never do. 9 times out of 10, they never do. The agitator said, hold on, let me go back. The agitator said, ain't no way I would stand there and watch them do that to my child. No way. I'm sorry. I'm not, honey, because I will live and die for mine. And that's some facts. I promise you that, honey. There's no way I would sit there and watch that. There's no way. No way. And I wouldn't have cared about no consequences. Periods, points, and blank. And let's not forget, honey, I ain't afraid to die. Okay? Please. That's some facts. Anyway, Vince I am says, I am still baffled why the judge took so long to allow the family to seek justice. Is he the same pedo judge? Hold on. Who was boyfriends with Rottenhouse? No. No, this is a female judge. This is a female judge. And it took so long for this to get to the courts, okay? To go before the court. Now, the good news is the judge is going to allow them, oops, didn't mean to do that. The judge is going to let the suit go through because the police were trying to get it thrown out. That's what they thought. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share.
Of the family members who love him, who you hear from. They'll tell you how nice a young man he was. You know, he now has a young daughter that will never know his father. He has a mother, a father, siblings, friends, members of the community, all who can tell you that he was a special young man who was taken way too soon. We've seen this happen throughout the country. You know, there's been a lot of unrest this summer about the racial problems in our community. We're hopeful that by bringing this lawsuit, we're not only going to get justice for Anton and his family, but that we will bring further attention to what has to stop. The killing of young Black men and women, the killing of any Black men and women at the hands of police officers, that is unwarranted.
I am Anton Blaque. I am Anton's father. To introduce myself, I'm an Air Force veteran. I was sergeant in the Air Force. I later became a trucker. I hauled new cars for Ford. I've been all over the United States. I've seen a lot of things. I've never seen anything so brutal as what they did to my child. Anton was an athlete. He was one of the fastest boys in the state of Maryland. He was 5'9", he high jumped 6'4", only ran track 2 years. Strong heart, strong body. I used to tease him that I had a 6-pack. He'd take his shirt off and show me he had an 8-pack. Of course, my 6-pack was when I was running track. I was a state champion too. I was a state champion of Maryland in track. And he followed my path. I used to love to see him run. He was also a wide receiver for the football team. He also was a college student. I wanted him to go in the Air Force, but he wanted to be a police officer, of all things. It seems he was introduced early in life to a chief named Jackson, and he was a white officer, a good officer. He used to go to his house when he was young. He was friends with his children. So that instilled in him the urge to be a state trooper. He took criminal justice and he took acting. He fell in love with acting in college.
My name is Janelle Blaque, and I'm Anton Blaque's mother. He was everything. He loved his family. He was a family boy. He loved his brothers, his sisters, all his nieces. It's not right what they did. No mother or no family, or they should have to go through what we went through. I just wanted to get justice for my son. That morning, we had talked, he was going to go to the military. And that Monday to sign up, because we had talked, he still wanted to be a police officer. And I was telling him, you know, you could go into the Air Force and you can be a police officer. And when you come out, you'll have rank. Well, he told me, Mommy, will you go with me? That was supposed to be that Monday. And he never made it. Oh, I just don't want anybody else to suffer or to lose their loved ones the way we had. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
And then they had the audacity to try to get the lawsuit tossed out as if they didn't do anything wrong. The medical examiner lied and said that he died from cardiac arrest, not asphyxiation. Okay? This is what these devils do. And then they wonder why. They have people, you know, having no respect for the police. They wonder why people want to defund the police. I'm sorry. What other excuses do they need? We see it every day. Oh, so crazy, honey. Everyone involved in that, including the medical examiner, needs to get the death penalty. All right, as far as I'm concerned. Why weren't they tried and convicted? Oh, that's right. Because the prosecutor refused to have them indicted and take them before a grand jury. Okay? That's why. Anyway, so nefarious. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning back in once again to Authentic Black Goddess TV. Please like and share this video. Make sure y'all share this story, all right? Make sure you do. And also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. Follow the QueenAShakur fan page also, and you can find me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Now, I'm going live on the original QueenAShakur show because Kanye West said he ain't no house ninja. All right? That's what he said. So let's talk about it and why he said that. Okay? So everyone, please like and share. Like and share. And I hope to see you on the next chat. And that video starts in 2 minutes at 10:10. Okay? Peace.